evidence how the Hindu priests in league with the timber merchants are also destroying sacred groves, so there was no particular intention. But I think to say that Hinduism is pro-conservation completely or Christianity is anti-conservation. And in fact, I have also written, though again today I did not talk, in Bangladesh, which became Islamized, there is a lot of conservation practices persisted. And in fact, I have a paper in which we have talked along with the Bangladeshi friend, evidence I collected on the conservation practices which persisted, especially assigned to various peers. So the peers are in a sense transformation of the older Sthala-devatas of Bangladesh. And those peers associated with them are sacred ponds. In fact, the only population of a turtle or Triolix nigricans survives in a sacred pond dedicated to Byazid Vastomi, who is a peer, Islamic peer. So yes, of course, there are many of these surveys which I did not specifically mention. What was the other point you were saying?
The present.
And the present resistance also. This also, in fact, we saw in India also that the Maharaja of Mayurbhanj in Orissa had this huge hunting preserve, and when the Maharaja's state was dissolved, the peasants went in gleefully and started hunting inside, and there was a lot of controversy. I written about that also. Sure, no, these things are very much there.
Just one more point. There is a don't know if it's a sacred grove, but near the mutt of the Chitrapur Saraswats in Shirali, which is North Kannada district, there is also what is the Sanskrit term for the big forest? Say again? No. Anyway, where this Panchavati. There is this kind of a hilly place that's called Panchavati, which is also where the I don't know if I'm getting the term right, Mrigabeti Utsav happens, where the hunting of the deity happens over there. So I was wondering if there is any correspondence between hunting preserve and the sacred grove, where the sacred grove is in fact the hunting preserve of the deity.
No, I have not seen any of this kind of correspondence. A sacred grove being hunting preserve of a deity in Uttar Kannada district, where we did quite a bit of studies. There is this tradition of an annual hunt by the villagers, and of course in earlier times till very recently, wildlife needed for them to be eliminated, and forest also in a way needed to be eliminated. When there was so much malaria in 1950s, then there are these petitions. They are called Aranya Rudana, that we are weeping that there is too much forest. So all these perceptions change, and this is very much so. But not that I have not seen anywhere as particularly sacred grove being a hunting preserve for the presiding deity, that I have not come across any such reference. The really fascinating study would be in Bhutan. I spent only a brief time, but in Bhutan, with the Buddha religion being the dominant religion, these traditions have been very much maintained, and there are huge sacred groves around the Buddhist monasteries, and which are in fact now Goral, this white goat, if you want to see readily close to the capital of Bhutan, then there is a sacred grove on there. This is a big hill which is just completely covered by a sacred grove. On top of the hill is a Buddhist monastery, has Goral, and many such, like which has become scarce. So, but there also I have never heard of any hunting outside, yes, but not in any of these sacred
Good evening, sir. So you had made a mention about the Dangars and other pastures. They got their cattle from one is the northwest and the northeast. So is there any evidence on what is the originality from, what is the lineage of the Dangars? Are they originally from this place? And if anyway, how was the cattle lineage brought to the last?
Okay. See, all of us are originally anyway from Africa.
Yes,
very good evidence that the Homo sapiens originated in Africa. There were many waves of migration into India, and with the molecular evidence, we are getting a little better understanding of these waves. And so there were waves, there were many people which came in from also coastal routes through the so-called Khyber Pass from the northwest, and then from the northeast, from Southeast Asia and southern China, some across the Himalayas, and exactly how all of this happened, and Dangars, which, see, there must be many, there is no such thing as pure lineage in humans. This is one thing. So Dangars must also have a contribution from so many different migrations. And these now adoption of when the cattle and the buffalo together came and became adopted together. I am not, I am not aware of any very good evidence. But again, if one does now molecular studies with the cattle and with the buffaloes and so on, slowly perhaps much more will emerge. But one thing we know, the wild buffalo of Southeast Asia and of East India and Central India, it interbreeds with the domestic buffalo. They are very close to each other. But the cattle, the original stocks with which cattle will interbreed even today, there are very few populations left in Poland, I think, but not in India. So these cattle certainly have come in as a purely domesticated animal here. But the buffaloes may be partly domesticated and continue to be interbreed and mixed up. The exact way in which all this happened, I cannot say, and I don't think it's, certainly we do not have today that evidence. Maybe with many more studies at molecular genetic level, you might get such evidence. But one thing is clear, that it is complete nonsense to talk of any pure human races or so on. So, like, and there is even interesting evidence in literature for that. See, for this part of the country, you will have a description of a lot of people and their origins and development in a Sanskrit Purana called Skanda Purana. It's one of these Thala Purana. The Sahyadri Khanda of Skanda Purana talks about people of the Western Ghats tract. And it says, amongst other things, that Peshwas who ruled Maharashtra for quite some time, they came from hunters and fishermen, and that when Parashurama pushed back the sea, Parashurama was looking for clever people to become priests. So he made them priests. And so the ancestors of Peshwas were hunters and fishermen. So during Peshwa rule, apparently, anybody who had Skanda Purana in his possession was immediately hanged. Because the proved Peshwas came from, to them, very lowly stock. So there are all this. You should not take any of that seriously.